What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Joining alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got this stranger in the house tonight, Mr. Emilio. He's back from the north. Did they kick you out of the Northeast there, Bub?
They did.
Emilio!
Cold is cool. Then I come back down here. We're frozen too. Going to get a snowstorm. So it's nothing different. Hit a snowstorm. I'll send you the video after we get off. But hit a snowstorm on the way up, man. Erie was just brutal.
Oh, I bet, man. You get up around those lakes, dude. Oh, God. It's a bit of, I imagine that's near Lake Erie.
Yeah.
So, it was interesting down here too. We kind of talked about it earlier in the day. It got pretty wonky here, I guess you could say.
Did you make your run to the grocery store like everybody else did? Dude, I go to Kroger. The carts are just in the middle of the parking lot. Like every cart, the storage unit is full up, parking spots full up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting down here, Tim. These people, and one thing I've noticed, Emilio, it's like in the South, they don't drive more carefully. It's like the second don't get me wrong, Tim, you get on the interstate and it's 65.
They don't really do that up here either, Clay.
Bro, it's 65 degrees and clear. And you got three people creeping in the left lane, right?
Right.
If the roads turn icy or it's a monsoon, everybody's doing 110.
Yeah.
Right. All right, this makes a lot of sense. So here we are, though, right? Anyway, good to see everybody in the chat. I know it's falling in here. Appreciate everybody making us part of your evening. Carl K in the chat. Clayton, to clear out the lungs, use calendula. How do you say that, boys? What is that right there?
Calendula. Calendula. There's a good one. Let's go with Emilio's. I think
calendula.
With that one.
I don't know what calendula is, Carl, but this is a family program, sir. Okay, so don't be.
What does it mean? It'll clear you out for 3 hours. Are you just going to be sitting there hacking for 3 hours, or what?
It's going to set your lungs on fire. It's like smoking a half a pack of Pall Malls. You know what I mean? Just get those.
You can do that on your own, Clay.
Get that medicine in you. Andy Watkins says, afternoon, PTA posse, the PBRs are flowing. Good job, sir. Good job. Matthew Love. Good evening, guys. Been listening for a while. First time catching y'all live. Y'all guys are awesome. Keep it up, fellas. Go Pack Go from Georgia. I appreciate it, Matthew. I bet you talk like me, man. That's what I'm here for. Need a little backup. I get made fun of too much on this show. This particular show that sucks, by the way. So here we go. Let's go. Mick Knott says, is it McKnight or is it Mick Knott? That's the question, right? Mick Knott in the chat says, what will Packer linebackers do against the Eagles, man? I'll tell you, that running game, the fact that their running game is kind of their strength, it gives me more hope than if it was just like, wow, their passing game is, just unbelievable. I was looking at some of the numbers, and I know Jalen Hurts has been out for a while. His passing stats didn't really shock me. You know what I mean? I was expecting to see kind of MVP top numbers. Wasn't the case at all. What do you guys think about how we need to play this run, though? I know we haven't had a chance to really dive into the tape too much yet, but what do you think here as far as what will the Packers linebackers do against the Eagles? Do you think we're going to try to blitz them, seeing that they don't handle pressure well, or do you think we're going to key in on the run? Because I'll tell you, man, they can damn sure run the football.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley is no joke, right? I mean, we got to take that serious. But I do think they should mix in some pressures, right? Regardless of if it's Jalen Hurts under center or Kenny Pickett. So, hopefully it's a balanced attack, right? I hope it's not too much of, we don't want to be one-dimensional on defense. You got to be willing to dial up a blitz now and then. But you also have to account for, they got a dude named A.J. Brown. He's a pretty good receiver. There's a couple other good receivers and a big tight end target there in Philly as well. So I think balanced attack is going to be the mode you want to go in, right? I don't think you sell out and blitz all day, right?
I wouldn't like to see it. What do you guys think? Emilio, Jacob, what do y'all think, man?
No, I don't think so. And I was listening to Nick earlier, Sirianni there. He was saying AJ hasn't had a drop all year. So I think he's 67 for 67 on his reception. So, I mean, that's like Tim was saying, they got a good passing game. I think they've got, I think it said they got 160 first downs on passing, 108 rushing. It's a balanced attack. They were heavier rushing earlier in the year, though. It looked like they were kind of 60-40 for a while. They're running the ball. But coming into this game, it's another 4 quarters that they got to play football.
Yeah. Jacob, sir?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about how the cornerbacks have stepped up, and I think they're going to have to. What are you doing, Emilio?
I just saw your tag.
What? What are you talking about?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go solo here for just a second so you guys
here
can
we
read
go.
this
All
tag
right.
here.
Oh man.
I'll just say it was. We knew. We knew that there's going to have to be a lot of our young quarterbacks stepping up, and it's going to be a tough task to cover AJ. We lost him. To cover AJ Brown, that's going to be
Sorry,
tough.
I'm crying right now. I'm laughing.
Wow.
It's going to be a lot of. I know Halfley's going to take it personally after what happened on that. I thought he called a good game up until the call that we'll all talk about for eternity. Especially if you're a Bears fan, they'll probably always bring that up. That being said, Coach Lynn kind of took the wind out of my sails. I was going to say, what the hell's Brett Favre doing here?
Yeah, we got a Brett Favre intro, and it's only fitting that it looks like he's doing it from maybe like a hunting blind or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, nice for Brett to take 5 minutes in the tree stand to do an intro for us. That's
he probably
awesome.
took 5 minutes to do a little research on our show and went, "Oh yeah, this will be just fine."
That's exactly it. Got the bibs on and everything.
Definitely. Respect Orange says, "What's the spread?" So, according to NFL Pro, they've got DraftKings Sportsbook has it at 4.5 points, and then also PFF showing the market spread is at 4.5 points as well. So again, the Philadelphia Eagles are 4.5 point favorites. It opened at like 3, maybe 3.5, and now it's moved to the 4.5 mark. So, it's going to be interesting for sure. That is your spread on the game. How do you guys feel about that spread? We talked a little bit earlier today, me and Tim did, and we were mentioning last week we were talking about how the Packers were 10-point favorites, right? And when you looked at the juice, I want to say the juice on the Packers money line was something like 300 or 400, right? So Vegas made out like bandits with the public. 90% of the public was on the Packers to win outright. So they made a killing off of that Packers game. You look at this spread and you go, maybe we're on the receiving end of that, seeing that the public is all going to be on Philly. There's no doubt in my mind on that.
For sure. I could see us squeaking one out too. Win the game and probably not cover.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was interesting. We talked last episode that I was on. I believe it was against the Cowboys. We were 7-point underdogs. So right now, to be playing an Eagles team like this at this point with their quarterback trouble, I'm sure we'll get into. The dude hasn't played in quite a while. I didn't realize how long he hasn't. So I mean, there could be some real rust there. Obviously, we're dealing with our own stuff, but the 3.5 mark, I think, dictates that there is a little bit of shakiness at both quarterback positions for both teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and listening to Nick Jacob, he was saying, the way they prepare and everything, they're going to keep preparing. So I'm not really worried about the teams for us, but I still think that's a factor. Like you said, I think that's something you got to consider. And with the Clayton, what's that have for the over/under? I was looking. ESPN's got a 44.5. Is that about the same?
Over/under, yeah, 45.5 is what they've got.
Okay, 45.5. So I mean, they're under 50. They don't think it's going to be a shootout, and I think that we're both going to rely on our backs and our offensive line to try to move it. If our defensive line gets pushed back 3 yards at the start of every play, it's going to be a long game fast. So.
What if it's like an old cool smash mouth, both running backs, like cold weather? I mean, defense, kicking game comes down to like a 6-3 game. I know Clayton would love it. We would all hate it. Tim and I would be probably. I don't know.
Buried in 12 and 13 personnel. Yes.
Run that oop to you.
Yeah.
As of right now, the daily forecast on Sunday in the great city of Philadelphia is 40 degrees for the high, 24 for the low, and it's sunny. So weather shouldn't be a factor. They're saying the wind's somewhere around 9 mile an hour, 5 to 10 mile an hour. So, take that into consideration too. It's really not going to be like bitterly cold,
Right.
So bitterly, I don't know if is bitterly a word?
It's pretty close to a word.
Bitterly.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Put it on the ticker. We'll count it. All right, let's see. Joseph in the chat. I got 2 texts from friends after the Bears game telling me how much money they lost because of my Packers. There you go. Absolutely love it. Not for your friends, but just the fact that, boy, Vegas, they sneaky. They're real sneaky. M. Smitty, essentially a month since Hurts has played. Guys, that's a real thing.
Right.
I mean, that, like Jacob was saying, you can't just shoot. It doesn't mean he's going to come out and play horrible, but you can't just throw that to the side and go, no big deal. You can't do it.
Yeah, I would look for them to try and get him going, screen game and, easy passes to try and get, his legs under him again. So if we can prepare for that, they're probably going to want to run the ball early and often and then slowly get him acclimated again if he does in fact play. So if we can expect that, maybe we can dial something up and get after them early, try and jump out to a lead.
Yep. And like Ron is saying here, Hurts can always fall back onto running it himself. I think that's something that we have to consider. He's got 150 rushes on the year.
Yep.
That's something that we have to pay attention to. 4 yards a clip, I think you had it. So we need to be smart. We got to contain him. We got to, pinch the well, do all that stuff. And they were mentioning something about his finger too. He's still working back from that too. He got that banged up. So I don't know. We'll have to see where he's at.
Would you consider?
Go ahead, Jake.
I'm sorry. With all the talk about Quay and Cooper possibly being on the field again, would you want to dictate one of those guys? Be like, yo, you're not necessarily a full blown spy with Love, or with Hurts. I'm sorry, but somewhere halfway in between there, where somebody on every play is at least thinking about that. You know what I mean? Just kind of keeping that in the back of their mind.
I wouldn't mind it. 20% of the game, maybe. Spot situations if we're really worried about them. But I think that if we can trust our front four to keep the well contained, we'd be in a better shape. But then again, they put up 30 points on us in the first game, so their team isn't the same. We're not the same as we were before.
And what the Packers have done all year is they've utilized the combination of a touch spy with the defensive lineman and also that traditional spy that you get with the linebacker. Like when we played Caleb the first time, Cooper was spying him the whole game. Now, Caleb roasted him a couple of times there early in the season, right? Different Cooper playing football now. So you'll probably see a combination of that. What we mean by touch spy is you'll have a defensive tackle strategically try to line up in the 3-tech or the 1-tech, occupy a double team, walk that double team to the center of the pocket, kind of not to try to penetrate, but to stay back and keep eyes on that quarterback. You can get a hand in a couple throwing lanes as well as not allow them to escape up the middle. You've basically won half the battle if you do that, right? So now the problem with that is they're going to have more time to sit in the pocket when you do that, and that's what we've seen all year long. But I would much rather Jalen Hurts have to beat us playing quarterback than not throwing some kind of touch spy or a linebacker spy on him. And you can mix and match with the will and the mock there because I imagine we're going to be in nickel most of the day. So Ron Samuel says Hurts can always fall back to running it himself. That's kind of what we're hitting on right here. He's definitely a threat to do that, especially if he feels rusty, right? If he doesn't trust his arm, might look to tuck it a little bit more. I can't wait to see our boy Edgerrin Cooper turn it loose. So he's a different animal from when we seen him in week one. And he got a little bit of playing time in week one, but now he is full-blown all-pro potential is what it's looking like. Fred McFarley says, love Hurts. Let's go. I see what you did there, sir. And Carl K says, Hurts may be off enough for X to have fun. Pick 6 could change the game. Boy,
the first game, right?
Yeah.
And you talk about nickel, Clayton. I'm thinking of, my boy Javon Bullard, man. Hopefully we get some of those big nickel looks again, get him down in the box, being aggressive. And I'm with you, man. I don't think we need to dedicate a spy right off the bat to Jalen Hurts. If he gashes us with a couple of runs or something, maybe you might want to mix that in. But I think if we play big and big boy football down in the box there and our big hog mollies up front, TJ Slayton and the boys get it done in the trenches, we got a chance, man. We really do.
If everybody's healthy, do you go CB1 is Keyshawn and then Valentine and then Bullard in the slot? Is that
Bullard
what you
in the
prefer?
slot? Yeah, Oladapo at safety if we don't have Evan Williams. I thought KT
so
Oladapo played pretty well against the Bears. So, that would be my pick, though. Yeah, Jacob, for sure.
Yeah, and when you look at the injury report that just dropped earlier today, Evan Williams is the big one that stood out to me here. Or not Evan Williams, I'm sorry, but it was Zane Anderson did not participate again. So it makes you think, is that one of those 2-week concussion protocol things, right?
Like we dealt with Quay.
Yeah.
Quay was like that, yeah.
Javon Bullard was limited with the ankle. Edgerrin Cooper had an illness in a knee. He was limited. Brenton Cox Jr. with the foot. Nice to see him limited today. Andre Dillard with the concussion. What do you do, fall off the bench? Limited participation for him as well. Like, seriously, I didn't even know he got in there. Anyway.
I don't like the illness popping up again because we already knew Rome was sick.
Something going around, right?
Yep.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. Tay tried to tell us about this. You know what I'm saying? Romeo Dobbs' illness, but he's full participation, so the bubble guts must at least be over, right? We got past that, beyond that point. Jordan Love with the right elbow, limited participation, which kind of struck me as odd, as he said in the locker room today. He said, yeah, we'll see, asking if he was going to play, right? Now, probably a little gamesmanship. I would imagine that was the company line he was told to tote there. We'll see. TJ Slayton did not participate with the ankle. Me no likey that, Jan. We just highlighted him all week long. Yeah. That dude is arguably our best run stuffer outside of Rashawn Gary on the defensive line. And, man, if he doesn't play in this game, it's going to be time for Carl Brooks and Kobe Wooden to grow up real fast, man, because Saquon Barkley is going to be looking to gash this defense, no doubt.
Good to see Devontae Wyatt no longer on this
yes.
one. That's a positive.
Yep. Quay Walker, limited participation with the ankle. That's a good sign that he's at least limited, right? Christian Watson with the knee, obviously he's on IR. Evan Williams with the quadricep, limited participation. And then Malik Willis with the right thumb, limited participation. I hate to say what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. If his thumb is not 100% healthy, this might be a Sean Clifford backup game here, boys.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. And listen, I think everybody's reaction said it just now. Malik Willis goes in the game, you feel like, okay, we still got a shot. Sean Clifford goes in, that shot goes pretty far down. Am I wrong? Am I being too critical there?
I just don't think we've seen enough. I mean, when's the last time we've seen him get any action? Preseason, be pretty tough. Pretty tall task, but I don't know. Like I hinted at it earlier. Like, do we dress three quarterbacks? Do we roll into Philly with three quarterbacks just in case? I mean, you never know. It's win or go home, right? You got to throw everything and the kitchen sink at them if you want. So, I don't know, but I'm with you though, Clayton. I don't feel super confident in Sean Clifford.
Yeah. Drew D in the chat says Cooper only played 11 snaps last time against the Eagles. Thank you for looking that up there, Drew. So obviously a different team now. Ben Holden in the chat. Who should the Packers try to stop first, Hurts or Barkley? For me, it's real simple. Barkley. Yeah. And listen, hopefully you can stop him, right? I feel like this Packers defense is built more to stop him than they have been in the past. Let's go around the horn with that question. For me, it's definitely Barkley. Was that you that said Barkley too?
Barkley, yeah. If we can keep him under 75 yards in the first half, I think we're doing a good job. And if we can keep him under, another 75 after that, I think we did an even better job. So I mean, under 100 for the game, I'd be hyped. But that's where their bread and butter starts. I mean, if they get because the thing is, the problem I feel like we're going to run into, if they can get 3-4 yards, throw an out route, get another 3 yards, it's 4th and 1. We're right back to where we were with the Lions. We're going for it on 4th and 1, push, next, first down. So that's where I just don't want to fall into just a revolving circle of them marching down the field like that. We got to get them into 2nd, 3rd and longs. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. It's so frustrating, Tim. These teams that go for it on 4th and short. I get so mad, bro. I get so angry.
But now that we know,
it's the new era though, right? This is how they play now.
Right. That's it, Tim. We know, right? We feel like we know that that's going to happen. How can we put ourselves in the best spot to force them into those long, 2nd and 3rds?
Exactly. And also be prepared that getting 3 stops is not always going to mean your work is done. A lot of times it's demoralizing. You feel like you stop them, on a 3rd and 5 or something, and it's, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. You got to just assume they're going to go, and you got to have something called and dialed up in those situations because, regardless of if it's the Eagles, the Lions, whoever, I mean, it's becoming more popular to just go for it, especially when you're in, your opponent's territory on the other side of the 50. I think the likelihood goes up that they may try to go for it on those 4th and shorts. So,
yeah.
But long story short, yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. It's Saquon that we have to prioritize for sure.
What about you, Jake? What do you think, man?
Yeah, I heard some quote today. I can't remember which podcast I was listening to, but basically they're like, if you can't stop the run, you can't stop anything because everything will stem from the run, the play action. If they're looking to stop Saquon first, they're like Tim or Emilio just said, any of those little short out routes, a lot of that stuff is just going to be easy money. And if we can't stop, that makes me the most worried about the TJ Slayton situation because, I mean, that's our Gilbert, baby. He's
right.
That's our big old hog molly up there that's just going to plug and even Ryan, I love it when Ryan has to. I wouldn't say eat crow, but I loved TJ Slayton when he came out. I was like, just wait, and then I never saw anything from him. And then all of a sudden, we waited just long enough, and I can be like, ha ha. But he did see his. he'll do like a 30, 40, 50, 90, 30, 40, 50, 80. And we need him back, and we need it to be an 80. And if not, like you just said, man, we need Wyatt, we need Kobe, we need Carl to come in here and do some crazy stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Prince in the chat says, flu and nasty cold going around Wisconsin. Seems like everyone I know has been hit by one or the other. I know the ERs down here are jam-packed too, man. And, it's getting interesting. Bad down your way, Emilio, or no? You guys staying clean? Y'all washing your hands down there?
Yeah, I wash my hands, all the time. So I don't have to worry about that,
That's all that matters.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
When Jacob goes get that tap, they're gonna make him wash that left cheek, ain't they? Definitely gonna wipe that down for him there. So just saying. Coach Lynn says, there's no tape on Clifford, so there's that. That's a
good point.
And he's played in a rivalry game. He's played in Penn State, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, that kind of stuff. So it's something.
Ron Sandville. Clifford threw 455 interceptions during camp. Got them all out of his system.
Oh, man, keeping things positive in here. That's what I'm talking about. Darren Johns, a member here on YouTube, says, good evening. Y'all are the best. Being from Northeast Pennsylvania, surrounded by Philly fans, I cannot wait for Sunday. Darren, doing the Lord's work up there in the territory.
God bless, man.
Just drove through there. It looks nice out. Yeah.
There you go. Greg S. in the chat says they don't really do a lot of quick passes, so we have time to get pressure. It's going to be kind of taking those shots and running the ball right off of us, what it seems like here. So let's see here what Jacob's giggling about. Too old for this. Who needs a quarterback? Just let McManus kick a field goal every first down. I love it. Love it. McManus, boy, what a godsend he's been. Philadelphia Eagles side of the injury report here. A.J. Brown, a knee/veteran rest, limited participation. We won't even worry about the full participations here. Jalen Hurts, concussion and left finger, limited participation. That's what you guys were kind of hitting on there just a second ago. Trevor Keegan, guard, illness, did not participate. He didn't wash his hands and wash his butt. Kenny Pickett with the rib injury, limited participation. Will Shipley, running back with the ankle injury, limited participation. And, of course, Byron Young, defensive tackle with the hamstring, was full participation. So it seems like very similar here. Kenny Pickett got some more sore ribs while Malik Willis has got a banged-up thumb, man. They may be in the same situation we're in here, right? Seems like both of these teams, both of their quarterbacks have some injury concerns, right? Jordan Love, I'm not completely out of the woods with that elbow. I don't know how you guys feel, but I still got a little bit of concern for it. Hopefully it's all good to go, but we'll see.
The way he was kind of talking in his presser today, he kind of looked like he was, like he was kind of just not making eye contact, sort of. I think he's going to be good to go. I really think he just hit his funny bone, and it just did not feel good for that, time frame. And I think he just has to walk the limited line until the.
Wasn't very funny, was it?
No, it wasn't, Jacob.
Coach Lynn in the chat said if the Packers pull this off, Philly will absolutely burn. Could you imagine the social media outrage? It will be fire Nick Sirianni, because last year when they got eliminated, it was the same thing. Man, I don't, maybe Philly can win it this year, right? Maybe that can happen. But if it doesn't, just look, it don't even matter if they make it to the Super Bowl again. It's going to be fire Nick Sirianni the second they're gone.
Yeah.
It'll be absolutely hilarious. So, all right. J. Cole feels like he's BS and talking about love, right?
Yeah, I really think he's all right.
I agree. All right, let's go to Twitter real quick, see what we got on here. Pack Daddy himself tweeted this out. The knock on the Packers is that they didn't beat 14-win teams. Do you understand how stupid of a standard that is? Teams that didn't beat 14-win teams. These are all Packer teams. 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And then, of course, same, in 2024, the Vikings, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Ravens. I think that's a great point that he makes there, because that has been the knock, right? Well, you can't beat a good team. You do understand they were elite teams, right? And the thing that me and Tim talked about this morning, maybe I'm looking at the glass too half full here, but it's pretty wild to me that we were in every one of those games as well, Right. So I know that ticks some Packer fans off, but it is what it is.
I'm trying to remember the last time that we got absolutely blown out of a game. It's been a while.
Yeah, no, we haven't made progress from last year's youngest team to the second youngest team to make the playoffs this year. And we added some wins to this team and everything. How have we not progressed to becoming a better team?
Yep.
All right. Also in the news today, congratulations, Xavier McKinney making the NFLPA All-Pro team his first year in Green Bay. So Xavier McKinney was selected by the players themselves as an All-Pro. I think that's just absolutely awesome that he got that nod there, man. And of course, no surprise to us. It's just cool to see him getting that respect he's due, man. Xavier McKinney, if you do not add him in the offseason like you did last year, I don't think this team probably missed the playoffs, to be honest with you. He's been that dang good. You guys got anything you want to add there to Xavier McKinney making the NFLPA All-Pro team?
I'm glad.
Well deserved. Didn't throw to him. Got a lot of picks, and I hope he gets another one against Jalen this week, like he did first week. And look at your boy above him, Roquan, right? Yep. Once he left the Bears, got a little bit of notice.
Tim taking or Emilio taking a little shot there. I like it, man. I like the spiciness tonight. So that was just me responding to the Jordan Love chatter. Aaron Rodgers, I put a tweet out. You guys probably aren't interested. It's pretty cool, though. He finished the year, this bad year he had. He finished 8th in the NFL in passing. Had 3,897 passing yards. That was third best in Jets history. 28 touchdowns. Wow. That was third best in Jets history. Tied for 7th in the NFL with 28 touchdowns. And 192 first down passes, which was 8th in the NFL. So obviously, Aaron Rodgers, if this was his last year, I don't think it's necessarily a bad way to go out. The guy can still sling it. So,
for sure.
Yeah. Anything to add to the Aaron Rodgers? We good there, right?
Hang the jersey, right?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get him back here, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get him on the intro here soon.
12 belongs in Green Bay.
Get him on the intro. Is that what you
said? He's next on the list to get him on the intro. I said, as a Packer fan, I will say I don't appreciate just how blessed I am to root for Green Bay. As Fox Sports NFL put this graphic out, said we will see the Packers or Steelers climb to the top list over the next few weeks. This is playoff wins all time, top 5 all time. The San Francisco 49ers have 38 playoff wins. Obviously, they're sitting on the couch this year. The New England Patriots, they have 37 playoff wins. They're sitting on the couch this year. The Green Bay Packers are tied with New England for second most playoff wins all time at 37. Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys are sitting at 36. Obviously, the Cowboys are at home as well. They're already in Cabo. Well, Jerry Jones. So pretty cool, man, that the Packers, if you somehow, some way can pull out a win against Philly this weekend, you are now tied for the all-time playoff wins lead. That's pretty remarkable when you think about it, boys.
It really is.
All right. Tim, can you do me a favor and give me a screen grab, anything at all? I want to relive this moment. This is kind of cool, man. Just cover the screen if you could. We're going to play the audio from an old Sports Center bit that Brett Favre actually tweeted out. You can throw it up at any moment. Don't really matter which one. There we go. So it's about 1:48 long, but I thought this was cool. Brett Favre actually tweeted this out earlier today. He said, on this day, January 8th, 1994, we pulled off one of the most memorable playoff wins in Packers history. From the crowd's energy to the incredible team bond, that 28-24 victory over the Lions was a battle from start to finish, and I'm proud of the way our guys fought to the very end. So here is the Sports Center bit from this. We'll play the audio only for copyright purposes. Let's kind of relive this for a minute. It's pretty cool.
But would the Lions be the same team? There was a chance Mr. Stop and Start, Barry Sanders, would start. If he did start, could the Pack stop him? Because once he gets started, he's hard to stop. Stop it. Let's go to the highlights. Silverdome. There goes Barry. Scooting, squirting, sprinting. 169 yards, 27 carries, both Lion playoff records. That run set up Eric Kramer. To Brett Perryman. Great one-handed catch. Perryman, 10 catches, 150 yards, 10-7 Lions. Third quarter, still 10-7, Packers deep. Brett Favre picked off by Melvin Jenkins, who runs it in from 15 for a touchdown. 17-7 Lions in command. But then Favre rifles it to Sterling Sharp. Touchdown, Packers. Favre 15 of 26 on the day, 204 yards. Lions lead it by 3, then the huge play. Lions threatening. Kramer drops back. Picked off by George Teague. And the rookie breaks out. He had a big game in last year's Sugar Bowl. 101 yards for the score, the longest INT return in playoff history, 21-17. Packers with the lead. Kramer is stunned. The Lions would respond.
You can't see this. Kramer's laying face down on the turf like he said.
Derek Moore. Plug it up the middle. Lions retake the lead 24-21 on Moore's only carry. Late fourth quarter, Packers trying to come back. Remember, winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. Find a way, Brett Favre. He scrambles. He's got Sharp. 40-yard score. Oh, the Pack is back. They win it 28-24. Packers back in the playoffs for the first time since '82. They next play at Dallas. Favre got inspired when the Lions started celebrating a little early. They were up in his face. Actually, not his face.
All right, there you go. I thought that was pretty.
Man, can we just talk about how awesome ESPN used to be back in the day?
Bro, that's the
Craig Kilborn back in the day. Stuart Scott.
The Sports Center we grew up to, man. Like it was as soon as you rolled out of bed, put on ESPN, man.
The old Chris Berman when he could still yell at his crew.
Oh, yeah. With his Diet Coke in his hand.
Put Bill O'Reilly.
Nobody's ever worked in TV before. I wish I could say exactly what he said. It's hilarious. We need to do an after-hour show sometime where we can just take the rails off completely.
Oh,
my God! You're talking about the credibility going
way down.
Yeah, we'll be looking like this guy.
Greg Rice says Stuart Scott was what? What did it say there? Stuart
Scott was awesome.
Oh yeah, he was the man.
Man.
You know him and Rich Eisen when they were young. You know, they were kind of partners on the Sports Center set. Just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Remember the cool ESPN commercials they used to do too, where they were actually funny and dry humor.
Like the mascot ones where
the mascots would
Steve Irwin in the one took out the gator.
Oh yeah,
he's a beauty. He's a beaut. Ron Sample says the Packers are the second youngest team to make the playoffs in the last 45 years. Second to last year's team. How awesome is that, man? And I thought it was kind of fitting that Brett shared that on Twitter earlier because the fact that, you know, it was this big upset victory right over the Lions. And when you heard Favre's stat line, you know, where everybody's roasting Jordan Love for the interceptions he threw earlier in the year, and we know he's really cleaned that up here in the second half of the season. It's just you hear him throw a pick there, right, and then bounce back, and you heard the stat line was like 14 of 29 for 204 yards. You know, you look at numbers sometimes today and you think, oh man, that's bad. I mean, it's whatever it takes to win the ball game. That throw to Sterling Sharp at the end, across his body, all the way across the field.
That was a dart. Yeah.
Absolute cannon on that dude.
What do you think about this? Of course, guys.
Oh, gotta get Sterling Sharp into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
In committee. A travesty Sterling hasn't been added to the Hall of Fame. I don't
this
know what else.
Be the year. I think this is the year.
Think so?
Did y'all see that clip by chance of Shannon Sharp getting schooled by Dan Orlovsky when Shannon's like, name the last time that the triple champ didn't win a Super Bowl or whatever, or get into the playoffs? And he's like, your brother in like 1992 or whatever. And he went, no, wait, he didn't.
Shannon went,
That ain't no problem, huh? That ain't no problem.
Dan was like, you asked me, dude.
It's hilarious. And what's crazy is Pat McAfee talked to Dan Orlovsky on his show about it and was like, was that a bit? And he went, no, we didn't talk before the show at all. I just happened to uncover that and had it ready for my section. And as soon as he said it, as soon as Sterling Sharp or Shannon Sharp said it, you see Dan go, he doesn't know this. Absolutely awesome, man. Great TV there. But yeah, we got to get Sterling into the Hall of Fame. Ron Sample says the Packers are the second youngest team. We already hit that one, didn't we? Adam in the chat says, what do you guys think? Are we receiving or deferring, assuming we get the call? I want to defer, but I'd say we're probably receiving. So.
This receiving is tough.
It is. It is, Brett. What do you guys
want? They want to get out to a fast start. Jordan, that's what Jordan was talking about. We got to get into a rhythm quick. We got to get moving. But when we get hung up, like we had the fumble against the Lions, when those or the Vikings, when those things happen, that's where we run into a hiccup. That's why you're right, Clayton. I want to defer, but we're probably taking the ball, and maybe it'll pop off. Maybe we'll go up 7 and we're off to the races, and that's what we needed. You know, we have 4 quarters. We gotta make do with what we can.
Yeah. Again, man, if you go right down and you score, it's not an issue, right?
Yep.
But I'm not going to BS everybody. the second that they say the Packers won the toss and they choose to take the ball, I always go, damn. I have to write it in my notes, and I go, write it down. I'm like, this never ends well.
Well, we've seen the flip side too, though, right? We've seen, the Packers defer and then come out in the second half and 3 and out and waste possession too. So it kind of works both ways. I think I do know whatever we think, Matt will probably do the opposite. So I'd like to see him defer too, but I think I'll take the ball.
Milltown Corey says Joy doesn't think receiving's tough. Da-doom.
I was good. Thank you. Yeah.
I try not to get on stuff like that, but listen, if you pull up the old tweets of her grandstanding on people and talking about how we need to move it along for women and this and that, and then to find out she was behind the scenes, boy, that's just a bad look.
Don't put that name in my mouth right there. Hey.
Especially for all of the great female broadcasters that are in the business.
Yeah.
Michelle Tafoya, class act, right? One of the best. Andrea Kramer, unbelievable. Susie Colbert, my first crush in life, unbelievable.
That's another ESPN OG, Susie Colbert.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back in the day, she was awesome,
and she was the face of NFL Pro Matchup, right? It was sponsored by Edge Pro Gel, I think. And man, just every time you heard her voice, you thought, "All right, we're about to break down some tape. This is awesome." So and when you see somebody like what we talked about there, allegedly, just setting women in broadcasting back like that, it's frustrating, man, because they've come such a long way getting the respect that they deserve. It's tough, man. It really is. Let's see. You got a couple more in here, Mark, right? Too old for this. Jacob marked that. He's looking away.
Of course, Jacob marked that.
I can't wait until we get a Greenland football team.
I'm just saying they have polar bears there. I didn't know that. That'd be pretty cool.
Polar bears.
That sounds pretty dope, right?
It does sound good. Yeah. Allegedly, Roman in the chat. The Eagles will play 60 minutes, so an early lead is no guarantee.
Like that take two. I mean, they're going to play hard for 60, right?
Yep. I promise you this. They're not going into that game going, oh, man, if they take the ball first, this is going to be tough. Neither of the teams are. Let's be honest, right? So let's see here. Adam in the chat. I hope Half will make Hurts see ghosts. He may actually think he's seeing them considering his concussion. Lots of pre-snap movement would be awesome to see. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to hold anything back in this game. That's
a great point, though. I hope we see a lot of that sugar from Halfley. Let's disguise some coverages. Mm-hmm. Let's get guys moving. Let's use deception. And, you got a rusty quarterback coming out there. Let's keep them confused. I think that's a great point.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Some other news that dropped here. I thought this was kind of cool. ML football. Some people don't like this account. I'll be honest with you, man. There's a lot of news that broke this year that I learned from this specific Twitter account, but they did list their all rookie defensive team today, and pretty cool. Starting at safety, Evan Williams, rookie, and at linebacker, Edgerrin Cooper. So, like I said in this tweet here, man, Goody cooked here. When you get two guys that's being mentioned for anyone saying, hey, they are worthy of the all rookie defensive team in the same draft class. And let's see here, Evan Williams, Edgerrin Cooper was a second-round pick, and Evan Williams was a fourth-round pick. Am I thinking right, guys?
Yes, I think, yeah.
For me, man, it's real simple. Trade back. Get out of that first round. Acquire a bunch of picks because you're hitting home runs in the second round and beyond. Tucker Kraft finally put the third-round curse to bed. But, boy, oh, boy, that first round is just – the amount of capital that you can collect by trading out of the first round – to me, is just so worth it. It really is. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say what's cool, too, guys, is if you look back at some of the guys we highlighted, a lot of their names are on this list right here.
Yep. A lot of them. Robinson, Tavondre Sweat, Quinyon Mitchell, Kamari Lassiter.
Peyton Wilson. I know we liked him.
Cooper, how many of those were picked in the first round on that board? You know what I mean? Like Quinyon and
didn't Cooper fall to the second?
I think Cooper fell.
Right, Cooper fell. So I mean, that's it.
They all fell. I thought Fisk went first round, didn't he?
No, maybe you might be right, but still, I mean, what, a couple out of the entire team? That's impressive. And then again, especially if you're walking the line of near the end of the first round, what benefit do you get besides having that fifth-year option? Like, what else do you need? If you have an eye on something else, why not back out?
Yeah. And I've got the board here. Let's see if we can quickly find these guys on our board. Quinyon Mitchell was our very top cornerback in the draft. Evan Williams we had significantly later. He was middle of the pack. He probably would have come out to about a third to a fourth round pick according to the board. Let's see, Kamari Lassiter. I remember seeing him. He was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th corner on the board, right behind Sanger Steele and Rakestraw. And let's see, we got Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean was our 4th best corner, worthy of a first-round pick. Edgerrin Cooper was our 4th best linebacker, worthy of a second-round pick. Omar Spites, I'm trying to think. I don't know if we had him or not. Spites, however you say it. Let's see if we can find him here on the board.
He was very underrated.
Yeah, I don't have him. I don't even think he made our board. So there's the first one that wasn't on our board. Peyton Wilson was my 2nd best linebacker on the board. Jared Verse, defensive edge there. Jared Verse was the 3rd best rusher. You see Chop Robinson. He was the 2nd best edge defender on the board. Tavondre Sweat at defensive line was our 3rd best defensive lineman. And Braden Fisk was our 5th best defensive lineman. So you see all of those but one, maybe 2, were pretty much in our top 5 at each position. So really think we're onto something with the way we're creating our draft board, guys. I'm excited for the draft this year, man.
Yeah,
I want this season to last to February. Don't get me wrong, but the second it's over, boy, we're shifting gears and going right into draft season. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. Anything else you guys want to add to the all-rookie team there, boys? Anything at all?
Nothing. We're lucky. Let's hope they both play and tear it up in this next game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, I would just say it shows that certain teams are good at drafting. If you look at that the Rams, us, and the Eagles really hit this draft pretty darn hard.
Yep. Yeah. You mentioned the Eagles too. Look at the secondary. You got Cooper DeJean and you got Quinyon Mitchell. And we got to deal with these guys on Sunday. So it's important to remember that as we look at how we want to maybe come up with a game plan to take on that Philly defense. We talk a lot about their offense, but defense is no joke. They're going to make it tough to get the passing game going. So that's why I think we got to lean on that run and get play action off of that run game. And hopefully we can get these guys to make some mistakes. But they're secondary, man. They've got depth there.
Yeah. And, it's the other thing, too, when you look at this matchup with Philly, Cooper DeJean, I've heard it all year long. I can't believe we didn't draft Cooper. How cool would it be if we come out in this game and Javon Bullard just shines in the slot? Couple interceptions, maybe a forced fumble, and Cooper DeJean's quiet all day. You know how awesome that would be. Oh my God, man. I would never stop talking about the offense. But that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we will see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Anything else y'all want to add to the all-rookie team here, gents? Anything at all?
Just what Coach Len just said is we have to keep an eye on the Senior Bowl. It's in the next few weeks. Get a jump on some of these players. Goot is already interviewing corners. Yep. Senior Bowl, I think, is maybe one of the best play. Every time you watch that, and if guys are shining there, you're like, they could probably make it at the next level, Yeah.
It's so rare that you see someone who shines at that game and doesn't go on to be a great player. Like, it's just so rare because, again, it's that perfectly scouted look that you're getting the best in college against the best in college, right? And they're going head to head. And it's more about the practices all week than it is the game itself. The game is just kind of a celebration almost. It's just absolutely awesome. But let's do this. Let's jump into some NFL Pro. Which one do you guys want to do? You want to do NFL Pro Insights, or would you rather do PFF Preview with the rosters, kind of comparing? What y'all want to do?
PFF would be my vote.
All right, Jacob.
I got to jump, so I'll just make Emilio happy. PFF.
There you go.
Wow.
I'm always trying to make Emilio happy. You know what I mean, buddy.
Sorry, Tim, you're outvoted here, man.
I'm off camera stuffing my face. So sorry.
Don't even matter.
Have a good one, boys. Go back home.
All right, you too, buddy. Appreciate you, man. All right, let's dive into
good tips. Don't worry.
Let's dive into the PFF preview here. I had some Chick-fil-A waffle fries earlier, boys.
Oh man,
speaking my language right there.
I don't even know whose they were. I walked by, they were sitting on the counter. I went, they're mine now, and I took them right up here and shut the door behind me. That's how that worked. Mandy's down there mad right now. One thing I want to mention about the money, and the reason I mentioned this earlier, you're talking about the Packers last week, all the money was on the Packers and the money line. Look at the money line this week, boys. 88% of the cash and 86% of the slips are on the Eagles to win outright. The juice, again, is on the Packers at plus 189. So just saying, compare it to last week, nobody expected the Bears to pull that off. You never know. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. All right. Yep. Let's jump into their offense against our defense. How's that sound, fellas? Is that good with you?
Let's do it.
All right, let's see if we can get this zoomed in a little bit. Here we go. All right, their offense pretty stout, man. I ain't even gonna lie. Let's start with the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, 76.3, having a little bit of a down year. Some would say he's the 20th highest graded quarterback according to PFF. Like I said, a 76.3. Saquon Barkley grading out as the 10th best running back at an 85.0. That doesn't mean he's the 10th best running back. He's probably the best back in the league right now, but this is how PFF sees it, right? Moving on to wide receiver, you got A.J. Brown, 90.9, third highest grade in the league at the wide receiver position. Then you got Devonta Smith in the slot at 82.7. And then on the outside, you got Dotson at a 55.2. When you look at the weaponry here, boys, you throw in a little Dallas Goedert there. I think it's Dallas is his name, right? Goedert.
Yep.
Yeah, 65.7. He's the 29th highest graded tight end in the league, man. They've got some weaponry here on offense, gents. A.J. Brown, too, if you guys will remember that week 1 matchup, he absolutely cooked Jair Alexander in man coverage. Without that one explosive play, the Packers probably win that ball game, to be honest with you. So what do you guys think about their offense here, man? What sticks out to you?
The tackles. Look at that old line. Yeah, if you want to get any pressure, it's going to have to come from the middle.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I mean, it's going to be really tough to get anything. It'll be interesting to see how we attack with our edge guys for sure.
Yeah, and I think, looking at the outside, right, we know A.J. Brown, he catches everything with a 90.9 there. He's going to dominate on the outside. I think we got some guys out there. I think our issue is going to be, below the safeties, above the linebackers, and, in between the hash marks. Or in between the numbers is where we're going to have our problem, which is going to be Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert. I think that's going to be, a big game from our linebackers and our slot, which is asking a lot of two young guys if it's going to be, Bullard and Coop and, Quay. So if we can get Quay back out there, I think that'll help a lot. But I think that, we're going to have to cover those deep ends and those curls right there, I think, a lot, as well as being ready to fill for the run game.
I agree. It's like Clayton was talking about. Wouldn't this be a perfect game for Bullard to kind of, step out of the shadows and have a big game? Because quite frankly, we're going to need it with Devonta Smith in the slot there. I think it goes one of two ways. I think he either gets torched or he kicks ass and he plays well.
Right. And, nothing in between, right?
Yeah, nothing in between. It's either going to be a dumpster fire or it's going to be glorious. So we'll see.
Yeah. So again, on the offensive line at left tackle, they've got the best left tackle in all of football, according to PFF, 95.8 for Mailata. Then you got Dickerson at left guard at 79.2. Juergens in the middle at 67.1. He's the 13th highest graded center. Becton, I believe it is, at right guard at 75.2, 16th highest graded guard. And then, of course, Lane Johnson at 85.4, 7th highest graded tackle in the league. I know Rashawn Gary got a sack on him earlier in the year, beat him off the line because he wasn't ready for the snap. And, it's still they didn't count it for Gary. I'm still pissed off about that, to be honest with you. So, Gary needs to go get 2 this Sunday is what he needs to do. So there is your offense. And, again, that's 11 personnel for the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, that will trigger our nickel defense. And here we got our nickel look. Look at this, boys. Finally, Edgerrin Cooper breaks into the starting lineup. He's officially on the PFF preview. It just took him being the 4th highest graded linebacker in the league at 84.0 on the season. We got Quay Walker starting next to him. Hopefully he is good to go. Quay grading out 57.5, the 64th highest graded linebacker out of 83 on this particular look. That's your inside linebackers. When we go to the defensive front, Rashawn Gary is up to a 73.8 now. You've got Kenny Clark at a 59.3. Devontae Wyatt, 66.5. It's nice to see him above the 65 mark. Maybe he's finally cutting the corner there if he can stay healthy. Enagbare is who they've got listed as the starting edge defender at a 56.0. But if I remember correctly, both LV, maybe not LVN, but Brenton Cox Jr. is actually grading out higher than Enagbare, although we'll see, man. The snaps went to Enagbare last week. Obviously, he had that crucial horse collar penalty that was very, very costly there on that final drive, because that was going to be a negative play, and instead it turns into a 15-yard move the sticks type play there. What do you guys think about the front four here and really the front six altogether in this nickel 4-2-5 between the defensive line and the linebackers?
Devontae Wyatt, baby.
65%.
65%. That's right, baby.
Yeah, I think you're right on, Tim. We're gonna need a big game from the front. If, like I was saying earlier, dude, if they're getting pushed back 2 yards of play, we're gonna know quickly.
Yeah.
I think, if we're trying to stunt the whole time and we're getting ourselves going horizontal when they're just slamming us vertical, I think that's going to be an issue. And I think if we could have a game from an edge, and keep him fresh on the rotation, maybe we can keep Hurts running and and little tired, want to keep his eyes down and not look downfield as much.
Yep. It's also, we talk about Saquon Barkley, right? And we need to focus on him. I mean, we can't forget he's a threat in the pass game too.
Yep.
For all the talk we have about him running the football, he's just as dangerous on those leads.
Remember that, Tim? Remember he hit, what was it, a rail route on McDuffie? And we were mad at McDuffie, and I remember I wasn't happy with him either, but looking at that video back, he was a split second away. He made a really nice catch. I mean, so it's
right.
Not like he doesn't have hands. He can run routes. That's going to be something for Quay, which would be really nice, or Cooper to have to deal with, depending on which side he goes out, or for a man only.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep, definitely. Let's see here. Greg Rice, Nixon is close to 65% as well, guys. So keep that in mind. All right.
Keyshawn. It's a bad man right there.
65%.
65%. That's what we go. Joe in the chat says Cooper closing speed is the scariest thing this defense has. I mean, seriously, they're going to be facing Edgerrin Cooper, that we obviously didn't have this version of Edgerrin Cooper in week 1. It's a game changer, guys.
Yeah,
we've
got this version of him now.
That's exactly right. Can't wait to see his Instagram story this week for sure. But Edgerrin is he's the man. Moving on to defensive backs, we got Carrington Valentine now up to a 70.3, the 31st highest graded corner out of 116 on this list. Opposite of him will be Keyshawn Nixon at a 64.5. He's the 57th highest graded corner. That would suggest both of those guys are starting caliber, obviously. Valentine is officially a number 1 caliber cornerback according to PFF. Keyshawn Nixon's definitely starting caliber there in the 57 mark. Javon Bullard, again, 52.3. The grade has not been great this year. This last game played pretty darn well. Didn't he have his highest graded game, if I remember correctly, boys? It ain't going to show us, is it? Of course it's not. They'll show us the snaps, but they won't show us the weekly grade.
Thick.
Screen, but I'm pretty sure that Bullard, if I remember correctly, actually this was one of his highest graded games of the season, if I remember right. So looking forward to seeing him grow. And again, man, this is your chance to make a name for yourself, man. You're going up against the guy that most Packer fans are going, we should have drafted Cooper DeJean. Go out there and show them why they made the right choice, right?
Yep.
That's what this is about.
Go out there and prove why you're in the slot too, because clearly you're more comfortable in the slot, or maybe like you were saying, that spur safety kind of role.
Yep.
You prefer to be down there. Play well there. That's your spot to have. Obviously, we'll have some competition after going into next season or whatever. But I think if Bullard plays well here, that could be his job to lose.
Yeah. Joe in the chat says Hurts rarely throws to the middle, but middle is our weakness. I wonder if they attack it. It's a great observation there, Joe. That's where teams have got to make that tough decision, right? Do we go towards our weakness, knowing it's the other team's weakness as well, or do we just kind of stick with what we do well, knowing we're going right into the teeth of that defense, right? That's a question that every coach has got to answer for sure.
Looking, Clay, I did pull up his passing directions. His outside left, 0 to 10 yards, 44 of 48. Between the numbers 0 to 10, 66 of 74. Between the right side, 0 to 10, 33 of 44. So short yardage, he's kind of there. It's something that's what I'm saying. That's where I think it's going to be a lot of, between the safeties and down. I think that's going to be big on that front six, like we were talking. If those outside corners can play it, we could make ourselves have a game here. He's struggled deep out right and deep out left. So
got it. Good to know. So maybe you try to bend away from that a little bit, right? And make him make those throws that he doesn't want to have to make.
Right, yeah, force him into it.
Yep. Adam in the chat says, I wonder if we'll see a completely different game plan than what we've seen before on either defense or offense. These are two different teams, that's for sure, Adam. It's going to be interesting to see how both these coaches call it. And kind of like what Amelia was just pointing out, if it is the out route that they're struggling with, then do we completely ignore that and give it to him and make Hurts throw into that and make Hurts prove to himself he can make that throw? Right,
especially coming off the injury like that. How's your finger feel? How's, he's got concussion, but rust, where are you at? Is your timing off? If we get him just another half-second bump, can that out route take a little bit longer and the ball's not there? All that.
Right. All right, let's jump now over to the Eagles defense, boys. Fangio has got this well-oiled machine humming here, as you can see. This is unbelievable. Look at all this green across the board, man.
Wow.
And again, when we talk about we need a three-tech, they had, what was his name? Davis, right? That they got from Jordan Davis that they got from Georgia, right? And then the very next year, they went and got his teammate, Jalen Carter, to play three-tech as well. Now, some would look at Jordan Davis as a nose tackle. Depends on how you want to utilize him. He has the athleticism to play three-tech as well, but Jalen Carter's a force. This is unbelievable. Let's start on the defensive line. You've got Sweat at the edge position, 75.7. Williams, defensive tackle, looks like he's playing more of a nose, 70.1. Jalen Carter, three-tech, 74.1. And then Smith, opposite of him, 76.1. I mean, there is no weak spot on this defensive line.
Greg Price, a low of 67.6. Dang.
Yeah, and that's big play Slay.
Darius Slay.
Right.
The weakest player on the defense is Darius Slay. Yeah, we have to play perfect football to beat this team.
Got to.
Absolutely.
Yep. So on the outside or at the linebacker, let's go to linebacker here. Zach Bond, been a lot of talk about him this year, right? I mean, look at this, guys. 65.1, 44.6, 50.4, 71.1 last year. Now at 90.1. He has the highest grade.
Scroll down just a smidge, Clay. Look at that. D-line, 127 snaps, 649 in the box, 158 at slot. So he's not worried about walking up and blitzing. I remember, didn't he get a sack first game?
I think he did. Yep.
So, and I remember they were talking about the Bond effect or something. And so, I mean, that's something we got to watch out for. We got to be prepared for that. Are we going to be chipping? What are we going to do? Tight end leak, running back, whatever. But we got to be ready for him.
Yeah. This is his fifth year, and he was a third-round pick too. So just to show you, man, I'm telling you, I'm always team trade back. And I know it sucks sitting through the whole first round that night and to not make a pick. But boy, oh boy, if you get multiple swings in the second, third, and fourth round, you can really do some damage, I think. Maybe you land a player like Bond in a couple of years, you look it up, you got the best linebacker in the league. That'd be awesome. Next to him is Nakobe Dean. Many people were worried, all right, is he going to be an actual fit there? He's 74.5, grading out the 15th best linebacker in the league. So you got him paired with Zach Bond at a 90.1. Man, that's trouble there at the front six, front seven when you're trying to run the football on them, I'm sure. Anything else you guys want to add to the defensive line and the linebacker core here for the Eagles?
Coach Len in the chat. Hope our O-line is up for the challenge. I think they are. I couldn't agree more. The boys have been playing pretty well up front lately, and they're going to have to be, like I said, we're going to have to play perfect against this Philly defensive front, man. I think seriously, like one turnover in this game could spell disaster.
Yeah. I think that's completely fair. And I think coach is onto it, right? That's same thing on defense as on offense. We got to get a good push, got to be, stand up. Like Matt was saying, got to have a base when you come to, conflict. And we got to make sure that we just go back to our fundamentals, get your feet under you, shoulder width apart, all that stuff, drive through, pretend it's a sled, all that. It's, and like Tim was saying, we cannot make mistakes. No pre-snap post snaps, no during the whistle. I mean, we need to have like 3 penalties this game max.
You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Moving on to the cornerback room again, it's led by Darius Slay, the veteran in the room, 67.6, the 48th highest graded corner. But performing the best is Cooper DeJean in the slot, 82.7. That's third best amongst corners in the league. Quinyon Mitchell on the outside, 73.1 is his PFF grade. He's 21st best in the league. And we've seen them on that all-rookie team there from ML football. So, this cornerback room is deadly. You got Blankenship at safety. They got him listed at free safety. We know that's very interchangeable, especially in a Vic Fangio-style defense. 74.4 for him, 17th highest graded. And then opposite him is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with a 76.0, the 15th highest graded safety. So the defensive back room is arguably their strength on this team, and that's saying a lot with all the other green you got here for sure.
And to that point, Clayton, I just pulled up their coverage grades in a stack for the regular and regular season. Zach Vaughn leading with a 91.7 coverage grade on 514 coverages, it looks like. So that dude is all over the place. And then second best, who played a lot of snaps, is Gardner Johnson, like you said, there with an 82.6. So that's, I mean, they're good all over. It really is the case.
I know this is a little dated, but I wanted to pop this up. I see we still have this. These are the coverages through, I think, week 16. Taking a look at what the Eagles are running, they will play some cover one man. Look at that, 25% of the time. So, I think it's going to be a pretty good balance between, zone and man when it comes to the Eagles. They may lean a little bit more zone, like, most of the league does, but they're going to play some cover one man on us.
Yeah, I just went ahead and grabbed the updated version. If I've got room here on our program, I'm going to throw it up real quick, Tim. We've got
you want me to dump that one that I just had?
Let's see. We got room. You can go ahead and dump it if you want to, though. Yeah, okay. We don't need it. At foot.
Oh my gosh. Well, folks,
what just happened to Clay?
Clayton has disconnected himself. So
let's turn our cameras on and look.
We're going to have to get him back in here.
Hey, here's the guy.
Kicked me right out, man.
How did that happen?
That's unbelievable, dude. I can't believe. I guess what happened was when I was adding an image the same time you were, Tim. That's probably what happened. The system just completely crashed.
It just totally overloaded.
You think God never farted?
He did. I imagine he did, Brett.
Rambo wasn't sure if a raccoon got your modem or not. So it is warm in there. I'm sure he probably would have tried for it.
Yeah. Here we go. Bang. So here is for this show sucks. Who said that? I want to give them a prize. I'm going to send them a coffee mug. Who was too old for this?
We'll sound Corey too.
Yeah, right fine.
We'll get those PFF grades back up on the screen here too in the background, so you guys have got that. Let me get that pop back up real quick. Bang! All right, so that's ready to roll. Now, these are the coverages for just the playoff teams, which is really cool. Again, shout out to @football_insights on Twitter, @fball_insights on Twitter. Go give them a follow. So here we go. The Eagles have climbed now, right? EPA per drop back. They are third amongst all the playoff teams at a minus 0.02.
Playoffs?
Packers are tied for that same third spot at minus 0.02. Look at the Broncos up there leading the way. That's wild.
Wow.
Yeah. So with these playoff teams, and again, like Tim pointed out with the Eagles, cover 3 is what they run the majority of the time, right? Cover 3 zone at a 29.2% clip. And second is cover 1 man. That's what you were pointing out, Tim. If you guys will remember, week 1, we were hitting crossers. We were also hitting jet sweeps like crazy on them too. Seems like I remember Jaden Reed getting a jet sweep for a touchdown, and he had a deep crosser for like 50 yards or something. So that's how you attack man coverage. Now, again, they could change that up. Watching that tape, they may be going, no, they ain't doing it this time, right? Third most that they run, though, is cover 4 zone, which that's the Fangio staple of his defense, right? Playing that quarters coverage at 19.5%. And they play cover 6, 17.4% of the time. Now, again, that's their fourth most called defense. But it's important to mention it's lit up in blue, dark blue, which means it's of all the playoff teams, they run more cover 6 than anyone else. We run it at 11.8% a clip, but we really like to press in the cover 2 with that 25.5% of the time we run cover 2. So, Tim, you wanted to pull this graphic up, man. You have the floor. I know you were talking about cover 1 when the system glitched out, but what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like if we see man, it's probably going to be cover 1, if you're going based off of the evidence. But you're right. This is week 1 of a new season, basically. This is a whole new season, win or go home. So, if there's a time to maybe shake things up, it's usually in the playoffs. If they want to mix up their coverages, this would be the game to do it. So I don't think we should assume that when we see man, it's going to be cover 1 primarily, but it does look that way. And I think you're right. I hate to say it, but we have to use that dreaded jet sweep term because
right.
I'm assuming Maddie's going to have a few of those in his bag of tricks if they're going to run that cover 1 man look. So we'll see. I mean, that's a stout defense, and we're down a pretty big weapon. We really could use Scoot out there in this game. So we're going to have to see who steps up.
2-0 for this says Jaden was the only player not being affected by the field conditions week 1. I forgot all about that, guys. That was a mess, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was an absolute mess.
And he even said it was a mess in his interview today. He was like, yeah, that field was a mess. I'm ready to, go in there and play Philly. Obviously, he's never played there before. But Nick Sirianni was saying their field was frozen today. They couldn't even go outside. So I think they had to go to the stadium to practice, I think was what they were saying. So we'll see.
Yeah. 2-0 for this says we need more trick play. Shut up, A-Fam. Get out of here. I said 2-0 for this.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
A-Fam, see yourself out, sir. Please. No more trick plays. Now, but listen.
Sit your butt outside.
There's some teams that the jet sweeps work on. This might be one, right? Obviously, it was early in the year. Doesn't mean you go away from it completely. All we're saying is, for God's sakes, if you need 6 inches, stop running 12 yards laterally to get 6 inches.
Yep. And
everybody, we good. We all on the same page.
Right.
You can't tell me that Philly doesn't, have that in their scouting plan, right? Like it's all over the tape, even in our previous matchup, but let alone all season. So they're ready for that. I think if we pull that out at the right time, we could find some success with it. But if we lean on it too much, man, we're going to get guys blown up out there.
No, completely agree. All right, moving on to the Packers offense here. Let's start with the quarterback, Jordan Love, 77.7. He's the 16th highest graded quarterback according to PFF. Several spots ahead of Jalen Hurts, obviously. Josh Jacobs, 91.5 PFF grade. Third highest graded running back. According to PFF, he has been more effective, more consistent, overall a better back than Saquon Barkley. I have a hard time believing that. But Josh Jacobs has had a great year. There's no doubt about it. Saquon has just been unbelievable. The fact that Josh Jacobs scored, in 8 straight games, that's a new Packer record. Rushed for 1,300 yards. It's the first time that's happened since Amon Green did it in 2003. Jacobs is, man, we got more, guys. We got more than the 2022 version, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think in a lot of ways that's a pretty good comp to Jacobs is Saquon. To me, they're kind of similar style backs.
Yeah, there's no wasted motion, that's for sure. Very fluid, great ball carrier vision.
Yep.
Right.
I think Saquon is significantly more explosive, but I think Jacobs is a more patient runner.
Yeah. Saquon probably has the edge in the pass game too. Probably more of a threat as a pass catcher.
Probably does. Yeah, probably does.
Not saying Jacobs can't get there though, because I think him growing the way he can. Maybe sharpen up this offensive line a little bit, build that wall up a little more. I think we'll be in business.
Boom, just like that right there. You know
Let's
what I'm
go.
talking about?
That's what I'm talking about right there. What's that, a D8? Come on now.
Shout out to on Twitter at GoPackJoeG, right, for this graphic here. As you can see, the number 8 on the blade.
John Deere green, baby.
One of the worst AI generated images you'll ever see. Look at the far left offensive lineman with the helmet on his bicep. I think
that's money.
What are we doing? I love it. It's just cheesy enough for me, for sure. So, what did you say? It was a D8? Is that what you said?
Yeah, D8. Yeah.
I like it. Just stay away from this. You know what I mean? That's what you got there. All right. So back to the Packers here. Offensive line from left to right. Rasheed Walker up to a 68.3, the 41st highest graded tackle. Elton Jenkins, 66.0. He's the 29th guard. Josh Myers, 55.3. He's the 40th center. I don't mean to laugh, but boys, there's only 32 teams. There's only 32 centers starting every week. So, yeah, PFF has not been kind to Josh Myers, no doubt about it. And you know what? It's kind of like Javon Bullard. Go out there and kick some ass on Sunday. Show them, prove them wrong.
That's right.
Sean Ryan, 62.0, the 47th highest rated guard there at right guard. And then, of course, Zach Tom, just an absolute stud, 87.6, the fourth highest rated tackle.
Did the Brinks truck pull up to Zach Tom's house yet and drop off all that money?
Haven't heard it beep yet, Tim.
Oh, man, get it done, Goody. Let's go.
He's going to get paid, boys. He is going to get paid so much money. It's not even funny. I don't mean to rhyme. I do it all the time. Tucker Kraft, 68.0, 24th highest graded tight end. Tim, he just goes up every week, dude. Every week, just slowly climbing those ranks on PFF. I think he's already a top 5 tight end, maybe top 3, man. He's been an absolute stud this year. We showed the clips yesterday of him blocking his ass off, too. His game is just coming together so perfect. It really is.
A complete tight end. That's what he is.
Yep.
And he's continuing to develop that way. And it's awesome that he's doing it in Green Bay. We're lucky.
Definitely. Emilio, have you got a chance to deep dive on Tucker Kraft here lately, dude, and seen the improvement he's had? Man, it's unbelievable.
I have not been able to do a deep dive on him, but from what I've seen, the blocking has improved tremendously, right? And still a threat. What does he have? Like 60 some catches on the season, I think. He really has been helping us between 0 and 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, tight end screens, all that sort of stuff that we haven't really had in this offense, or a threat to do those things, allows us to expand it. And I think that's just helps Matt a little bit more, being able to use him as a move tight end, a lead blocker, not always needing Brooks out there, another halfback for a lead block. It's everything that we need, I think, to get this thing humming. We just need to have it happen for 4 straight quarters, 3-4 times to get us to that Lombardi.
Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat says, back up the truck for McManus while you're at it. Amen to that.
Yep.
Go ahead and get both those guys taken care of for sure.
I think McManus should be pretty simple, right?
Should be. Yeah.
Tack some void years on and get him, he's probably going to be wanting around north of that 2.5 milli, 3 milli range, probably, right?
Yeah. This Coach Lynn said, Emilio, did you do your homework? He's mad. Look at that mad emoji out there, man.
Hey, I answered honestly, though. Most of the time I would have just said yeah and kind of scribbled it really fast and then handed it in. You know what I'm saying? But
heard it from a fan right here.
I know this. You don't do that homework. You know what happens. You get that belt ass. You hear me? That right there. I'm going to flash it a couple times for you, all right? Get that homework done.
Emilio's over there like,
edit D's. How about that?
All right, moving on to receiver. Romeo Dobbs, 70.0, 57th highest graded receiver in the league. In the slot next to him, you got Jaden Reed at a 70.4. He's the 56th highest graded receiver in the league. And then Dontavion Wicks, obviously, will get the majority of the reps in place of Christian Watson at a 65.3. He's the 71st highest graded wide receiver in the league. When you look at this, what this suggests, guys, is what we've said all along, right? Got a whole bunch of number 2 receivers. This would suggest that both Romeo Dobbs and Jaden Reed are number 2 caliber receivers between that 32 and 64 mark. And Dontavion Wicks is a number 3 receiver. So
I just caught the ball.
And that's exactly what they're going to need to do, Tim. They're really just going to need to step up. All of them, right? Every one of them needs to have a good game. Remember, wasn't it Bo Melton that was our first? Matt said our first 100-yard receiver last year, right?
That's correct.
It's not anything they can't do. It's not anything that they haven't played in. It's something that's just got to happen. They got to make plays for each other so that they can keep playing football.
Yep. Completely agree. Anything else you guys want to hit here on the PFF preview as we get ready to wrap up?
I saw something here in the chat. Adam in the chat. Jalen Carter versus Myers, that's a nightmare. I mean,
man, I tell you, he's going
to have his hands full for sure.
Yeah, and what's crazy is Jalen Carter plays that 3-tech, right? And we kind of talked about that. So if he's playing 3-tech, he's going to play most likely in between the guard and the tackle. Now, it doesn't mean he won't play one tech. So you're probably going to get Williams trying to play head up on, play one tech in between the guard and the center to force a double team there. So you might end up seeing Jalen Carter. They may try to exploit Sean Ryan on the right side. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You put Williams into one tech. You have to eat a double team there for the one tech. And that'll be obviously kind of how we use Kenny Clark. And then they'll look to turn Jalen Carter loose on a single coverage. Now, if you roll the coverage, right, if you bend the protection to Jalen Carter, not only are you, you're countering with the numbers game, but you're putting your offensive lineman in a big disadvantage, especially if, let's say, with the center, you're going to try to fade the center over towards the right guard to help double Jalen Carter, right? Well, guess what? Williams in that one tech is going to be already on the inside shoulder of Elton Jenkins, so he's going to have to really be able to handle his business there. And it just so happens that they've got very, very effective edge rushers as well. So the one guy, the Tuesday player on this defensive line, in my opinion, is Jalen Carter. Make sure you're getting two bodies on him at all times, but you got to hold on tight, man. The ball's got to come out quick. And I think the best way you could kind of counter this is get the run game going early. Use under center play action pass as much as you can, man.
Yep. Yeah. Talking to start with that run game, I think.
Which, of course, means we'll see pistol and shotgun all day.
I wouldn't mind a little pistol, Tim. We got to keep them honest which side we're going to. That's the only thing I don't – that's why I like when Matt brings Josh kind of in that motion backwards, because you can kind of spin the quarterback either way, hide the ball a little bit, and then get Josh coming downhill. But that gets us into that pistol formation look. But, yeah, I just – I don't want to sit in sidecar the entire game, handed across the face of him, handed across the face. I don't want to see that unless Matt's been setting it up all year for Jordan to pull the one read option and go for like 80 yards.
Yep. What's crazy too, though, if the numbers still hold up, we did a significant study on this last year and the year before. Shotgun runs are more effective than under center. You average more yards per carry, but the problem is play action is way less effective. So you got to kind of, take the good with the bad there. So I think that's why some teams just go, the hell with it. Let's just run out of gun to make things easier on everyone, But I'm with you, though, man. I'd like to see us under center a lot more. I think that's what's missing in our offense right now for sure. So, all right, anything else we want to hit on here, gents? We've covered everything pretty extensively. Tim, what we'll do in the morning is we'll jump into the PFF Pro Insights, start to dive into some of that. Emilio, you got anything else you want to hit before we wrap up, man? Anything that maybe you've been thinking of? I know you listen to a lot of podcasts on the way back, all that good stuff. We haven't had you in here for a while.
No, not too much. I was just kind of pulling up some of the passing stuff on Love and Hurts, and really they both can move the ball, right? I think we're both better down the center of the field. But Love's not afraid really to push it downfield. I think that is going to be big from our wide receivers. If we can stretch him, we don't need the wide receivers to make all those stretch plays. I think it's going to be big. Yeah, exactly. That kind of stretch. I think we're going to need Musgrave out there to kind of try to get a mismatch and maybe force that seam look a little bit, trying to open up some of those crossers underneath and that sort of thing. But, they're a young team ready to go. Some of them have a little bit of playoff experience. Some of them are going to learn real soon what it's all about. And they just have to go out and play. It's not like we can do anything to change that.
Yep.
Got their hand was dealt. Go out there and play the game. Yep. So I'm honestly excited to see it. If we go on a run, are we going to be the NFC East sweepers and just take out every NFC East team in the first round and keep going? I'm cool with that. But, yeah, I think that they got a little bit of drive. I think they're going to want to get to the next round, maybe take out the Lions or Vikes if they can.
We got to play fearless, right? You got to, respect the Eagles. We understand who our opponent is, but we're not going to be afraid, right?
Yeah.
There's no fear. Just go out there and play our game.
15 minutes. That's all you get.
That's right.
That's it. Yeah. 4 quarters, 1 quarter at a time.
Our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So
that wouldn't hurt.
It wouldn't hurt at all. Here is the matchup that we're looking at this weekend in terms of wild card weekend. So on Saturday, you got 2 games, okay? 4:30 Eastern kickoff is the Chargers at the Texans. That's going to be on CBS. And then the 8 o'clock, the nightcap there is going to be on Amazon Prime. It's going to be the Steelers at the Ravens. Boys, that's going to be a damn.
That's going to be a hell of a game right there.
I'm going to kick back with a daddy soda and enjoy that one. Let me tell you. Then on Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff or 12 noon Central, you got the Denver Broncos at Buffalo. Going to be cold up there. Then you got the 4:30 window or 3:30 Lambeau time is going to be Green Bay at Philadelphia. Again, weather doesn't look like it's going to be a factor. Should be a nice day for football up there. That's going to be awesome. That's going to be on Fox, so I imagine that's going to be Tom Brady on that call. That'll be good. And then, of course, 8 o'clock that night, you're going to have the NBC broadcast of the Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that'll be our boy Mike Tirico and our other guy. Here's a guy, right, calling that one. So
that's going to be a hell of a game too. I'll tell you that for sure. The night game is going to be it's going to be fun to watch that one.
Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, Monday Night Football to wrap up Wild Card Weekend is going to be the Minnesota Vikings at the LA Rams. It's LA Rams, man. You can't overlook them. It'd be cool to see Sean McVay knock off his protege there in KOC and knock them out of the playoffs. Yeah, I know I'll be rooting for the Rams there. So it's going to be an interesting weekend, boys. Here's the plan in terms of our show. Tomorrow morning, we'll be doing a morning show. Tomorrow evening, there will be no show. I'm going to be traveling. I'm also going to be out of town Friday morning, but we will be back in time. If the blizzard doesn't get us, we'll be back Friday evening for a PTA show, and as long as the electricity's on, of course. I don't have enough raccoons and possums out here to keep the wheel turning and keep the electricity turning. You know what I'm saying? So,
got that redneck generator going.
Oh yeah.
Right. You wondering where all those possums went? This dude right here ate them. I promise.
He has a possum in a dumpster.
That's right, Jacob. He's here in spirit. All right, boys. That's it. Appreciate y'all, Tim, Jacob, in spirit, Emilio here in the flesh. Thank you, bud. It's good to have you back. All right. As Joe says, this show sucks. And it does. See y'all later in the morning. Bye.
And we go. Bye, guys.